House of the Dragon ends this episode with Jon Roxton blocking Corlys' road, but his identity is not the revelation that matters. The missed detail is that Rhaenyra invents two opposite ways to kill with one sword, and only one depends on its victim recognizing the face. At Tumbleton, anonymity gets the blade through the door. At Harrenhal, intimacy is meant to get it close to Aemond. Then Ormond's warning turns that method back toward Rhaenyra's own hand. Rhaenyra chooses one sword not because she lacks dragons, but because Aemond is no longer a dragon target. Helena's dream places him at Harrenhal, but Alicent makes the crucial distinction that he is there without Vhagar. Rhaenyra's riders searched for the dragon half a dozen times because they were looking for the threat everyone could see. Without Vhagar, Aemond is one man on foot who can disappear when an army approaches. More soldiers would therefore make the target harder to reach rather than easier to defeat. One trusted arrival crosses the distance before Aemond knows he is under attack. Rhaenyra's phrase describes a two-part weapon. The sword supplies the violence, but Alicent supplies the access. Alicent's relationship with her son makes the killer invisible until it is too late. That is why one sword can do what 6 dragons cannot, but the episode has already shown exactly how a plan built on access can fail. The Tumbleton operation hides its knife inside legitimacy, not darkness. Rhaenyra refuses Daemon's demand to burn the city because its people belong to a lord who bent the knee to her. Dragonfire might win the ground while proving Ormond's claim that she murders loyal subjects. Her answer is to send knives and to insist that the most effective assassin has a plain face. Minutes later, a genuine Baratheon envoy offers her anything he can give, and she asks for his belt. No written order is shown, but the false Baratheon delegation at Tumbleton makes the belt's purpose unmistakable. It is not merely a costume piece, it is borrowed authority that turns unknown men into guests of Lord Ormond. Ser Arik's earlier attempt to enter Dragonstone inside his twin's identity depended on recognition failing at the right moment too. A plain face leaves no memory, but that advantage vanishes when the disguise borrows someone a witness knows. At Tumbleton, Gwaine is that witness. The assassination fails because one informed observer knows the difference between a heraldic symbol and a person. Gwaine acts first, then explains that the real Ser Arion has different hair, another foot of height, and a more comely face. No dragon exposes the plot, and no vast intelligence network is required. Private familiarity defeats the public credential that got the killers through the door. Jon Roxton then helps finish the attackers with Orphanmaker, the Valyrian steel sword of House Roxton. That earlier appearance establishes everything a fresh viewer needs to know about the knight who returns at the end. More importantly, Roxton experiences Rhaenyra's new method from the receiving end. A failed open attack costs soldiers. This failed covert attack also gives the survivor an instruction manual. The warning that the dog she kicked will bite her hand confirms that Tumbleton identified both attack and source. Her next plan solves the recognition problem by making recognition essential, but that improvement makes trust itself part of the battlefield. Alicent is the correction because Aemond is supposed to recognize her. Rhaenyra is weaponizing a real bond that cannot be exposed as a costume. Her words separate the approaches. Many swords make Aemond flee, while one sword with someone he trusts may get close. The blade is only half the mechanism because Alicent's familiar face lowers the defenses around it. Rhaenyra adds coercion by keeping Helena under guard until Alicent returns. That turns a mother's attempt to save one child into leverage for betraying another. Helena's question, whether Alicent could simply refuse, strips away the comforting story that she has no choice. The plan concentrates the war's violence into one relationship and makes Alicent carry its guilt. At Harrenhal, Aelys already controls Aemon's access, protects his hiding place, and gives him reasons to trust her instead. Alicent may pass the defenses, but because her face is genuine, the failure mode is not exposure. It is betrayal. The final road proves that this method is contagious. Rhaenyra hears that the dog will bite her hand, and the episode cuts to Corlys, the hand of the queen. The wording makes him more than a commander. The answer is aimed at the person holding her war and government together. Corlys is preparing to bring his victorious men back into a city where the watch is buckling, so even delaying him has strategic value. The knight is Jon Roxton, the Tumbleton defender now carrying Orphan Maker into the answering move. What the episode shows is an interception and the beginning of a clash before it cuts to black. What it strongly implies, through the warning and the immediate edit, is retaliation ordered from Ormond's side. Kill, capture, or delay remains speculation because neither Roxton's orders nor the outcome appears on screen. A routine roadblock is possible, but the message, the hand, and Roxton's return make coincidence weaker. For book readers, Grandmaster Munken's Chronicle does not pair Corlys with Roxton here, so this is a deliberate adaptation collision rather than a disputed scene being clarified. The doctrine works, the doctrine leaks, and once loosed, it does not stay hers. Rhaenyra chooses one sword because trust reaches places fire cannot. Her first covert strike proves that borrowed identity is fragile, while Alicent's mission bets that a real bond can carry the blade farther. But symmetry favors the side with fewer irreplaceable faces, and Rhaenyra cannot afford to lose the hand holding her war together. So has Rhaenyra made herself stronger or more vulnerable? Stronger because Alicent may reach Aemond, or more vulnerable because Ormond has learned where to bite? Hit subscribe to keep up with every House of the Dragon breakdown as soon as the new episode drops. Comment below. Is Rhaenyra's one-sword strategy brilliant precision, or has she taught her enemies exactly how to beat her?